You're listening to the Fitness Australia podcast. Hey you guys, and welcome to the Grow Your Fitness Business podcast brought to you by Fitness Australia. Again, if you haven't checked the Grow Your Fitness Business toolbox out yet, there's no time like the present. Visit businesshub.fitness.org.au and check out all the great stuff in there. From guides and videos to templates and podcasts just like this one, there's a whole lot of resources designed to help you grow. If you didn't tune in last time and you're not sure what we're all about, let me give you the lowdown. We're bringing together some of the most successful people in the Australian fitness industry to see if we can get to the bottom of their success. We're looking for how they've gotten to where they are and what makes them tick, so you can be inspired to go out and do the same. Last month we brought you Vision PT's Andrew Simmons, who spoke primarily about franchising. This time it's all about Zumba. And when you talk about Zumba, Maria Teresa Stone immediately pops to mind. Last year, this amazing woman was inducted into the Fitness Australia Roll of Honour for, among other things, her involvement in bringing the Zumba program to Australia. She's now using her passion for dance and fitness to help previously inactive people find a new way to become active. Maria Teresa became a Zumba education specialist in Mexico, where she originally hails from, and in 2009 launched the hugely successful program in New Zealand and Australia. She's presented at fitness conventions in Mexico, New Zealand, China, Thailand, England, Indonesia, and the USA, and has taught hundreds of masterclasses around the globe, training over 20,000 Zumba instructors worldwide in various specialties. She's been featured in magazines, radio, and on television, and has choreographed and performed on Zumba continuing education DVDs. We're very proud to have her with us today. Maria Teresa, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Fantastic. Now, before we get down to business, congratulations on giving birth recently. How's motherhood treating you?
Oh my God. A little bit crazy, but loving it. My daughter is now 2 months. And I have a son. He's 2.5 years old now. Yeah, so
fantastic.
It's busy.
One of the most memorable things for me last year was to see you at our awards ceremony, very heavily pregnant,
Yes.
leading a Zumba exhibition or a Zumba class, essentially.
Yes.
Talk us through a bit of that, because a lot of people were really inspired by the fact that you were so heavily pregnant and doing that.
You know what? I'm blessed to be very healthy, and my pregnancies have been very good. So why not? I continue teaching until almost the end of my pregnancies. And when they invited me to run this demo at the Fitness Australia ceremony, I'm like, I'm going to be part of it. I'm not just going to organize it. I'm going to be part of it, because I was still teaching at that point. So why not? I think I was like 7 months pregnant. And I loved it. Like, people were so receptive. They were smiling and clapping, and the music was electrifying that I couldn't help just to give it 100%. I thought I was going to take it easy, but I couldn't.
Was there a moment where you thought, or was there ever a time when you thought you're not going to be a part of that? Like when you were asked to do it?
No, I always thought I could do it. I could always pace myself down a little bit, and do it low impact, I guess. And I did, but...
You were going pretty hard.
Well,
we have the video to prove it.
Oh, no.
We'll put that video in the page where this podcast is going to appear.
Okay,
because
go
it's
for
fantastic. If you haven't seen it, if you weren't there, just have a look. Check it out, because it's amazing.
Thank you.
Now, you were also inducted into the Fitness Australia Roll of Honour that night. What was that experience like, and what did it actually mean to you?
The recognition. I just had no words when I received the phone call where they said you are being inducted to the Roll of Honor for the Fitness Australia and the job that you have done. And I'm like, you're not kidding, right? No, it's true. I was so happy, so overwhelmed. It was that. It was just the recognition, the hard work that I've put in the last 7 years since we launched the program, and the challenges and everything. Well worth it. Yeah.
Now let's talk about Zumba. It's something your name is synonymous with now in this country for those who maybe don't know, and there won't be many. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what it's all about and what you do with it right now?
Zumba fitness is exercise in disguise. And the creator, his name is Beto Perez, he's from Colombia, came across this type of exercise back in Colombia in the 90s. And he realized that people were just having a great time while exercising. So they were not thinking that they were exercising. Therefore, they kept going harder and for longer. And that also led them to keep coming back to class. So it wasn't a class that they had to do, but it became a class that they wanted to do. So he thought, this is something very special. It's working. People are enjoying it. It's a feel-good type of class. So that's when he had the idea of making it bigger. So he moved to United States, and then he found amazing business partners that believed in him, believed in his program. And together in the year 2000, they founded Zumba Fitness as we know it. And from the year 2001, the instructor trainings started. So my role has been to continue that work here in New Zealand and Australia, running instructor trainings for instructors out there that want to branch out or that want to start a business in the fitness industry. So it can be, that first step into the industry. So I've really enjoyed it. I think it's because I am a group fitness instructor myself. I'm not just a trainer. I teach classes on a day-to-day basis for different gyms and health clubs. And I see the impact that Zumba is making in so many people's lives out there.
We talk about it being fitness in disguise or exercise in disguise. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't look like exercise. It just looks like you're having a party, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's like you're partying with your friends. It takes people to, a different place. They get lost in the music and they basically find themselves into a good shape, Okay. I can say it that way, I guess.
Okay, so why the fitness industry for you and why Zumba, I guess? What was it that really, brought you to it?
I grew up in a gym, basically, because I have a sister. Her name is Teresa Stone, and her gym is Stone Gym, which you mentioned before. So in the 80s, Stone Gym was one of the 2 gyms in my hometown, and I grew up there. I just would go in the afternoons after school, and I would see my sister teaching. Then when she started offering dance classes, I joined. I joined dance classes after school, 4 to 5, before the group fitness classes started at 5 or 6 o'clock. And I would stay there. I would do my homework there. I would hang around the gym. And finally got the time where my sister said, I need you. You have the potential. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, you can become an aerobics instructor. Because back then in the 90s, it was aerobics. An aerobics instructor, I'm going to send you to another city, because in my city, you couldn't study group fitness or aerobics back then. So I'm going to send you to Guadalajara so you can study aerobics and you can complete your certificate and come back and teach. And I'm like, okay, why not? I was only 15 years old.
Right.
Not many 15 years old think about doing this type of thing, but I believed in my sister. Sure. And if she believed in me and she was supporting me, I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it. And my mother and my dad were like, yeah, do it. So a whole summer I spent in Guadalajara on my own, studying. It was Monday to Friday, basically, full-on course. I completed the course. I came back home, and my sister said, okay, on Friday, you're going to teach a step class. I'm like, what? That is so soon. You have a week to get ready. And I did. I had a week to get ready. It was freestyle step, and I put it together, and I was only 15 years old, and I was in front of people that were obviously older than me. So that was really intimidating, but I'm so happy my sister pushed me to do it, because I learned so much just by being in front of people. And it doesn't matter if I had fears or if I had, doubts, I did it. And that made me grow inside when I was only 15 years old. And I just continue learning. And every time my sister would go to a convention in the US, like IDEA convention or SADA City, she would take me with her. So we would go together, learn, bring back home the new trends, call it, I don't know, anything spinning or anything aqua aerobics or Pilates, whatever. We would bring it home, and we would be like one of the first ones to have this new program or new class on. And we will always like that. We will always try to be one step ahead of what was happening in Mexico, and always educating ourselves, always investing time and money on getting better and learning.
So how important do you think it is for people to stay ahead of the curve? If someone is starting their own business or is looking or is already in one, how important do you think it is to stay on that cutting edge all the time?
I think it's very important. I think people hesitate and they think twice before investing time and money in doing something. But I think if you believe in it, if you have a little bit of, your gut is telling you go for it, listen to your gut and go for it. because you might be the first one or one of the first ones to start something massive, something huge. And you mentioned before why Zumba. Obviously, I had that background in dance that I mentioned before and started with freestyle aerobics or group fitness, how we call it nowadays. Zumba came across in 2006 through another sister that is also in the industry.
Right.
And she's also a nutritionist.
It's a family affair.
Yes, it's a family thing. Her name is Teresa Stone. And she was the one that started with Zumba fitness from the beginning.
Right.
From the beginning, from 2001, when they started in the US. And she was the one that said, you have to do this program. You have to teach it. You're so good at both dance and fitness. You understand both. You're passionate about both. So this is for you, basically. It was, made for you. And okay, I said, why not? So I flew to the United States, did the training in San Diego, then came back home to Mexico and started teaching Zumba fitness. When Zumba fitness was still new in Mexico, was starting to get huge in the US, but it was still quite new in Mexico. And I loved it straight away. I thought, this is a great idea. This blends both of my passions so well and in such an easy format for me to teach and also easy for people to follow, which is very important. So that's why I got involved with Zumba.
You mentioned dance there. So tell us a little bit about your background in dance.
I was a dancer, but I have to say that it's just a passion for music and just feeling free when you move, when you dance, that I think it becomes a bit... it brings people attention, I guess, when I dance or when I move. But it's not that I don't think I was a professional dancer. I don't put myself as a professional dancer because I was just dancing for the joy of it.
Sure.
Just to have something to do in the afternoons rather than being on the streets doing nothing or watching TV. I wasn't that type of kid. I was a kid that I was pretty active, basketball, softball, just doing always something in the afternoons. So dance was one of the things that I really enjoyed doing. And if there was a party or if there was something happening, I was the first one on the floor.
Right.
Yeah, dancing, then people would join in. So I had no shame.
Sure.
I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to join myself. And then people would join in. So yeah.
It's obviously a long way from Mexico to Sydney now. I mean, tell us about how that progressed. How did you end up in Sydney? How did you end up in Australia and New Zealand and bringing Zumba here as well?
Yeah. So I had this amazing opportunity of becoming a Zumba education specialist for Zumba fitness in Mexico in the year 2007. And I started running the trainings for them in Mexico. I was already dating a handsome Kiwi man that I met when I lived in London. You mentioned it before, that I lived in London and I work in the industry as well there. And he proposed and we got married. When I realized that we were not going to stay in Mexico, we were going to move to New Zealand because that's where he obviously is from, I thought, oh my God, I need to leave my family, leave my students, my classes. At that point in my life, I was living in Tijuana, which is not my hometown. I was living in Tijuana and I was managing a gym and I was teaching lots of classes and I was running trainings for Zumba fitness on the weekends. So I was very busy.
Sure.
My boyfriend back then was living in New Zealand. So I spoke with Zumba Home Office, and I said, okay, what are the plans for expansion? Because the Zumba program is not in New Zealand and Australia. And I really want to teach it. I love it so much that I don't see myself living there and not having Zumba in my life. And they said, well, we're going to have you there now. So they basically gave me the blessing. They gave me their support and they said, go out there and start from the ground, start looking for opportunities, and whatever you need, we're going to be here to support you. So I got married, moved to New Zealand. First thing I did, okay, I have to know how the industry works here, which is slightly different from Mexico.
Sure.
The culture is different and so on. So I went to a gym and attended a class. I went to another gym, attended another class, and I went to another gym and attended another class. So I wanted to see how everything worked. And this was in Christchurch, New Zealand. I was so lucky that I met straight away with the group fitness instructors in those first classes because they were the ones teaching the classes. And they spotted me and they said, you are a group fitness instructor, aren't you? Because you have it in you. And I'm like, yes, in Mexico. But right now I'm not working yet because I just arrived to New Zealand. Perfect. We want to have a chat with you because you have a lot of potential. We want to see what you have and hire you. And I was like, yes. So I just prepared for that interview, prepared for that first class to teach, where they were going to trial me.
Yep.
And obviously I spoke at that moment about Zumba, but they weren't ready to take it on board because nobody knew about Zumba fitness in 2008. And I said, it's okay. It will happen. I knew it will happen. I knew it. I just needed to get inside the gyms and health clubs to get myself first known. So they hired me for freestyle classes, step, kickboxing, circuit classes, and so on. So that's how I first started over there.
Sure.
Then I realized I have to somehow start on my own teaching Zumba fitness classes. If they don't want to hire me for Zumba classes right now, it's okay. They will eventually.
Yep.
So what I did, I made a proposal to the gym. I said, okay, in those dead hours where you're not offering group fitness classes like 4 to 5 or Saturday at 11 in the morning, what if I hire those hours? And they said, it sounds like a good idea. We're not making a profit right now.
Right.
We're not making use of the studios at those times. So yeah. So we just made, a negotiation. I kept teaching freestyle group fitness for them, but I hired also from them a couple of hours a week, and I started Zumba that way. I also rented dance studios out there, like salsa studios, ballet studios, and I started teaching Zumba in those studios. People started asking, what is Zumba? Because it was so early, they still didn't know. And I would just say Zumba fitness exercise in disguise is a dance fitness class. When you say dance, some people were a little bit intimidated. And I said, just don't, because it's a no judgment type of class. You don't have to be a dancer. You don't have to be coordinated. You can have 2 left feet and still have a ball. As long as you're moving, any way that you move is better than not moving at all. So people started, opening their minds a little bit and started joining the class. In no time, those classes were packed. And in no time, the gym said to me, okay, we want Zumba on the timetable. We want you. How do we do it? I need to train instructors now. So that was the next step. I ran the first Zumba instructor training in New Zealand in April 2009. And then I came here for the first time to Australia for Filex in April 2009, where I did a lot of networking and I met an amazing woman called Deborah Goldberg. And together we started planning for the launch of Zumba here in Australia. First training happened in July 2009, sold out in a matter of 2 days, I think. Like insane. I don't think the industry here ever saw something so crazy as, that. Training selling out so fast. Not only that, the instructors that started teaching at the beginning, back in 2009, 2010, that started teaching classes at gym and health clubs, the classes were packed. Like, it was insane. We're talking about, normally a group fitness class, you get, let's say, 30 people. We were having the maximum capacity. If the studio could hold 50, we would have 50 and people waiting outside.
Wow.
Like, insane. It was very overwhelming, but it was really amazing to see and be part of that.
There's a lot to unpack there, but I mean, the key message that I'm getting from that is that the fact that you actually took the time to stand back and see where there was a gap in the market and then actually make a move and say, all right, this is how we're going to do it. Because having the foresight to have a look and see, to hire out that studio or gym to provide the Zumba class, I'm guessing it's something that you would recommend to others, to sort of take the time to do the research and to look for gaps in the market.
And be patient. And be patient, because you're not going to see the return straight away. At least I didn't see the return. I was teaching classes for basically no profit at the beginning, but I knew it was going to take off. So it was just a matter of being consistent with my delivery, being professional, treating people, not just a customer, treating people for what they were, people, and making them feel great from the moment they walked in the room, and make sure that they would leave the room with a smile on their faces. Make sure that I was delivering a class where they were going to feel much better after having that experience with me.
Okay, so it's not an easy step to start your own business, but what made you think that you could take the plunge personally?
First of all, is believing in you and believing in your skills, but also believing in the program or the business that you want to start. So for me, the big challenge was I knew Zumba was taking off here in Australia, but I wasn't physically here. I was in and out, traveling, living in New Zealand, traveling here. So it was making the proposal to my husband to say, hey, let's sell everything we have, house and everything, pack our bags and go. He had a little bit of an issue to think about it, you know, like leaving his country and leaving everything. For me, it was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're young. We have nothing to lose. We can just try, you know, instead of thinking, why didn't I do it? So that's why we did it. I had his support after a little while, but I had his support. We moved here in 2010, and I never looked back. And you're asking me, why did we do it? Because I believed in the program.
Sure.
I honestly believed in it, and I was so passionate about it, and still am. But in that moment, that I thought I have nothing to lose, and it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna come back to me, as long as I consistent with my work, as long as I am continue to educate myself and learn from others over here in Australia, because we have amazing presenters, we have amazing business owners here in the industry. So I wanted to be here to learn more.
Now, you mentioned it just before, but the key thing to understand is in the beginning, you weren't operating at a profit. So
No.
having that patience to, to work through that, what gave you the sort of courage to say, it's going to happen, just be patient?
Because I could see the result in people. I could see that my students were getting fitter. They were happier. They were just feeling good about themselves. And I thought that's very raw and very honest. It's not something that I'm pushing. It's something that is just happening just because the program is good. And people were coming back with amazing feedback. So I thought if it's working on, just one class,
Yep.
is going to work if I multiply it and I use other instructors to teach classes. Because I can't be in Perth and Brisbane and Gold Coast at the same time teaching classes. But if I have instructors that they can teach, then it's massive what you end up doing. You just multiply it. And now we have more people in Australia fitter than before. I know for a fact because people that would come to the gym for the first time to a Zumba class that have never, ever done any type of exercise before. They were basically couch potatoes. And they decided to give Zumba a go. And that became their gateway into, try other classes, even start running marathons and start doing other things in their lives that they probably wouldn't have done.
Sure.
If they wouldn't have tried a class that was fun and easy to follow, like Zumba Fitness.
So let's talk about some of the other challenges that you faced, starting a business. Obviously, you just mentioned one around, I guess, having the trust to have, other people on the other side of the country teaching a program that you've given to them. What were the biggest challenges that you sort of had to overcome in those initial stages?
The early stages, was credibility.
Right.
Credibility from the people in the industry, because we were the new kids in town, I guess. I was the new kid on the block.
Yep.
Who's Maria Teresa? What is Zumba Fitness? And, why are you suddenly so big and so fast? And how are you going to manage that? So obviously giving the instructors a lot of responsibility to educate themselves. Yes, they come and they get trained. They have a license to teach Zumba Fitness, but they still need to go out there and complete a certificate in fitness, register with Fitness Australia, make sure that they continue to grow, make sure that they continue to deliver classes that are fun, yes, but safe. Safety is very important. Zumba Fitness has a continuing education program for Zumba instructors where the instructor receives choreography, music, PPCA free, and obviously educational tools online and also face-to-face trainings. So that's really good for the instructors that come and get trained. They're not alone. They have that support from the program that is going to help them, first of all, to teach their first class with confidence, because I think that's the biggest thing that an instructor needs to do. Teaching that first class is nerve-wracking. I still remember my first class, butterflies in my stomach. Anybody can do it as long as you prepare yourself for the class. And then after that is continue to deliver classes that are fresh, that are fun, that are easy, where you can offer progressions or regressions if you have to. So you can cater the class for everybody, for people that are fit but also unfit, people that might have, a knee injury and so on. So as long as the instructors are educating themselves, they have a lot of growth, as a business in this industry. But I have seen also instructors coming and leaving just because they don't have that patience to stay here for the long run and to continue educating themselves.
So you talk about confidence. How important is it to instill, and how do you instill confidence in people who want to teach Zumba?
First of all, again, getting to know the program that you're going to teach. In this case, is Zumba Fitness. Getting to know it inside out, getting to know your music, getting to know the choreography that you're going to teach, and practice in front of the mirror, practice with your neighbors, guinea pigs, and then have the courage just to go and approach a gym or a health club and say, hey, I'm a fitness professional. I have my credentials here, my Fitness Australia registration. I'm a licensed Zumba fitness instructor. I would love the opportunity to work here, and just do it. I think you just have to do it to learn more about yourself and see where you still need to polish yourself a little bit more. Can be cueing, can be connection. Some people are great at teaching skills, but they might not be very good at connecting with people, and you need to connect with people. As a group fitness instructor, you have to make people feel important. They are there, they're spending a whole hour with you. You better make them feel special.
You've mentioned music a couple of times. It's an area that a lot of gyms and personal trainers don't know too much about. It's really important, specifically for Zumba. How do you go about picking your music, and how do you go about getting it approved? Is there a process for that as well? Well,
because the music that we get from Zumba is PPCA free. And most gyms are PPCA free facilities here in Australia. That's already a win for us because we already have that music, and we receive every month. Every month we receive at least 10 tracks. From those 10 tracks, you listen to all the songs, and then you choose which ones you want to learn and which ones you want to teach. For me, the way I select my music is what moves me inside. So then when I teach that song or that music or that choreography, it comes across as really honest. I don't have to force myself I don't like the song, but I still have to teach it. No. We have a variety of music. That's the main thing. So we have a lot of options to choose from. In Zumba Fitness, we use worldwide rhythms. So really you never get bored because it's not one type of music. It's not just pop music, but it's pop music and salsa and reggaeton and bhangra and belly dance and rhythms from Brazil and you name it. There are so many rhythms out there around the world that are so exciting that we have so much music to choose from. And then you just select different rhythms for your class because a Zumba fitness class needs to have a variety of rhythms. So as long as you have that, then your playlist is well balanced and people from different ages are going to enjoy it.
Can you look at the age group of your class and say, okay, this is really going to, this type of music is really going to speak to this particular group? Is that something that you have to take into consideration?
Yeah, that's really important. You need to look at your audience. Who are your followers? Who are the people that come to your classes? To be honest, a Zumba fitness class, you can have an 18-year-old, but you can also have a 70-year-old. So it can be a bit a little bit crazy, but depending on your gym and the culture of the gym and the members of that gym, then you might attract certain clientele and you might know, okay, I have a younger crowd at this time or at this gym, but if I teach in a different gym at a different time, it's a different crowd. So then I might tweak it a little bit, my playlist, and change a couple of tracks just to tailor the class for my group. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, now obviously this podcast appears in the Grow Your Fitness Business toolbox. You've seen the toolbox before. What do you think of it? How useful would it have been for you to have something like that at the time of starting your business, you feel?
Very useful, because when I started here, I just went, by feel. Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But I didn't have a place to go to and educate myself in the business side of it, the business side of things and things that related here to Australia, to this country, me coming from a different country. So I encourage every group fitness instructor, personal trainers, everybody out there that works in this industry that calls himself or herself a fitness professional to visit the site. And there are so many options out there. Like you can look for social media, you can look for different things that interest you, but also things that challenge you. I think if you always look for things that interest you, you don't grow so much. But if you look for things that you're not very familiar with, that are going to challenge you, then you're going to grow more. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, we want to make sure that everyone who's listening gets something out of it, and we're talking to a lot of different people. So
Yes.
we want to get the best piece of advice that you can give to these particular groups of people. So let's start with group fitness instructors for you. What's the best piece of advice that you could give them?
Well, if you're studying right now your certificate in fitness, keep going. Don't look back. Complete your certificate in fitness and don't think that it's going to be easy to go out there and make it in the real world. No. But you know what? The best things in life are not necessarily easy. And, like a good wine, it takes time to age. The same thing here. Start your first class and continue to grow and educate yourself. And if you can, get a mentor or somebody to coach you. That can be your group fitness manager. That can be, a group fitness colleague that teaches at the same gym or health club as you, but they have more experience than you. So don't be shy. Get out there.
And what about for personal trainers?
Personal trainers. I know a lot of personal trainers that also teach group fitness classes, and a lot of them that obviously just concentrate on PT, which is great. Whichever way you do it is fantastic. But for me, coming from a group fitness background, you have a massive clientele there. So personal trainers, if you don't attend or you don't go to group fitness classes or teach group fitness classes, look at it as a place where you can potentially get a lot of clients. In a regular class, 30, 40 people, potentially you could have 30, 40 clients from that class. So if you're doing both group fitness and PT, you can really cross them. Your group fitness clients can come to your PT invite them to do group fitness as well. So those that only do PT, see group fitness, see us, because we have a lot of potential.
So you mentioned students there before, but let's be more specific now. So what kind of advice, or the best piece of advice that you would give to someone studying a fitness course now?
A fitness course now. Continue to learn and definitely register with Fitness Australia. That would simple.
Good advice. So for people who are running a business or are thinking about running a business or opening their own business, what advice would you have to them?
Educate yourself more in exactly what you want to do. Know exactly the program or the type of business that you want to run. Have a plan. Where do you see yourself in what year, 5 years from now? And definitely speak with the experts. Talk to people that are experts in that area or in that type of business that you want to run. There are so many things that you can do in the fitness industry. It's such a huge industry that, every business can be different, can be opening a studio, can be running a PT business, or can be opening group fitness classes in a whole. So speak with people that have done it before.
Sure.
And that are experts in that field, definitely.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned just before the importance of becoming a Fitness Australia member. Mm-hmm. In your own words, just before we go, why is it important to be a member of Fitness Australia? Why do you think it's important to have this registration process?
Well, obviously, I am registered with Fitness Australia because they regulate the industry, which I think is very important. And also, it's a way to be seen as well as a professional in what you do. The same way that nurses, they have to register, and other professionals, they have to register for whatever they do, accounting and so on.
Sure.
So why not? If you're calling yourself a fitness professional, you have to be part of the fitness industry. The best way to do it is to be registered with Fitness Australia. You're going to receive with your membership a lot of education and a lot of opportunities.
Fantastic. Maria Teresa, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. There you have it, guys. Join us next time for the Grow Your Fitness Business podcast via YouTube, SoundCloud, or via fitness.org.au for more inspirational stories. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Maria Teresa.
Thanks to you. See you next time.